Manuela. I'm a program manager on the Parax Customer Advisory team, and I'm here today with Jennifer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Monroe. I'm president of Alchemy Automation, and I'm here with Manuela to introduce you guys to dealing with abandoned objects. One of the most frequent questions that we get when introducing customers to the CoE Starter Kit is what to do with objects when their owner leaves the organization. And in the past, there wasn't really a good answer to this. But today we'd like to introduce you to some of the capabilities of the starter kit for dealing with that situation.
That's true, and abandoned apps can make maintenance and management of power platform adoption very difficult and present challenges when admins want to make decisions about artifacts in their tenant, such as changing DLP policies or introducing guidance for application lifecycle management.
The CoE Starter Kit has implemented some automation to take the burden off of you, the admin. The idea is to push the responsibility of managing these things onto the manager of the maker that left the organization. So we use Teams adaptive cards to send the requests for cleanup to the managers of the person that left the organization. And that's how we facilitate the process.
That's right. And the manager then has a few options for managing these objects. They can either take ownership of the objects, assign ownership to someone else, delete all the items if they know that they're no longer needed, or they can send themselves an email with a list of all the items to kind of decide on at a later point, or they can make decisions on the individual item as well. So it's either a bulk decision or a decision on each of the objects that have been left behind.
And what happens if the manager can't be found?
Then the notification is sent to the admin and the decision is delegated to them.
The people involved in this process are the managers of the people that left the organization, the former owners of the apps and flows. So the admins only get involved if that person can't be found, and the managers are in charge of making this decision.
So there's actually very little effort on the admin side to discover those apps and make a decision about them.
That's correct.
Right? Let's now look at a demo of this process.
Great. So one thing to note is that although the process is derived towards the manager, you can get an idea of the scope of the problem you're looking at by seeing a full list of the objects that are orphaned for both Cloud Flows and Canvas apps. So this is the Set Flow Permissions app, which is in your core solution. And as you can see, we have a tab here that shows the orphaned objects, and in this case, the orphaned flows. So this allows you to get an idea of the scope of the problem that you're looking at, as well as to make bulk operations if you were to want to delete everything at once. In this case, you probably wouldn't want to because there are other people who have access to this flow, but that would be up to you. And the same is true for for the apps. You can use set app permissions to go and look at the apps that are orphaned and do the same process of seeing what kind of scope that we're at.
And both of these apps are targeted at the admin persona.
Correct. Yep. So back to the manager point of view. So the managers get a notification in Teams. So here we are in Teams, and you'll see that the manager gets a notice first that tells them that people have left the organization and the scale of the problem for them to deal with. In this case, they've got one app and 4 flows to deal with. Then they get a full flat list of them. And in this case, again, we see that they were all a result of Grady leaving the organization. Now we could do all of those options that Manuela mentioned a moment ago, where we could delete them all, email them to me to look through, take ownership, or assign to someone else, or see each one individually.
What does that see each look like?
So when I say see each, basically it's going to go and do a loop and offer me 5 adaptive cards, one for each. And so this is the app one. And so for here, I can take ownership, I could assign it out, or I could skip it. So for this one, let's show taking ownership, which means assigning it to me, Adele. And so it does that. And this is nice because it allows the the admin to be able to do all of this right in the context of what they're doing on their day-to-day work. And then if they needed more time to investigate, that email could get sent to them as a flat list.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and it allows the manager to have like full flexibility of what they want to do with the objects that were left behind.
Great. So now Adele owns Cats, the app, and then it comes and it asks the rest of these.
The next object, yeah. I
Yep,
see.
yep. And you can delete the object, assign it out, skip. Skip is a good one because in case you decide you don't want to do that today, you can just go on to the next one. And basically this process happens once a week. So if they skipped that, the
Okay.
next week they would be able to answer the same, come back in here and answer the same questions.
Oh, perfect. So they would have time to find someone else to take ownership of that flow in that time.
Yep,
Sounds
yep.
great. So let's quickly recap the process. So a weekly scheduled flow looks to see if a maker of apps or flows still exists in the organization's Active Directory. If not, the process gets a list of all the apps and flows that that maker owned, and it tries to find the previous manager of that maker. If the manager is found, a team's adaptive card is sent to the manager, and they can make decisions in bulk for all of the resources or take individual action per app or flow. And if the manager is not found, the list gets sent to the admin, and they can make decisions using the set app permissions, the set flow permissions app. So when it comes to this process, we get a few questions quite frequently that we're trying to address now. So one question is, what if the manager can't be found for a former employee?
Well, that is when we involve the admin persona. So if the manager can't be identified, an email is sent to the person that is identified in the environment variable individual admin. And the adaptive card is also sent to that individual. And then that individual would use the set app permissions, set flow permissions apps in order to do the work, their best guess on what they think should happen with this object.
What happens if the manager doesn't respond to the adaptive card in Teams?
The card is set to default in a week, and so they'll be able to respond over a week. And then if they don't respond, we basically just ask them again in another week. And all of the settings are in there to last for that long.
And how does the workflow know that an employee has left the organization?
So we have these cleanup flows called the cleanup dash admin sync v3. You've probably seen a bunch of those. We have one of them that is targeted at orphaned objects. And basically what it does is it walks through and it looks and it makes a call to Office 365 users for all of the different people that are not currently marked as orphaned. And if they don't resolve, then we go and we mark all of their objects as no longer having an owner.
So as a manager, I sometimes get an error message that tells me to use the product UX. What does that mean?
So there are some edge cases where we can't set the owner permission for various reasons. And so in that case, the person would need to gain access to the object themselves and use the product UX in order to change permissions. And that same set of objects, set app permissions, set flow permissions, can be used to gain access to objects to which you don't have. So those managers might be reaching out to you, the admin, saying that they get this error. And so what you would do is go to the set app permissions, set flow permissions, and either yourself go clean up those objects or give that manager access to those objects so that they can do the work to clean up in the product.
Great, thank you. I think that all makes sense. Thank you so much for watching the video where we walk through the process of how the CoE Starter Kit automates the process of dealing with abandoned apps and flows. To few more of the videos, please subscribe to the Power Platform YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you.